Why?
Because, see,
Okay, give me
we
one
got
second.
agents in here.
So, again, this is our Friday dinner and a movie night. We have a light crowd this evening. The movie we had just recorded, just aired was Urban Roots. And you can find it on Quayle TV or streaming on YouTube or Amazon or stuff. So I just won't put your face on.
Okay.
Your voice on but no face. How about
Okay,
that?
okay.
Okay, and so we like to live stream this recording just so other people out there in Cyberland, if you want to join us one of these Fridays, you can get a feel of what we do. Okay, family, I always start with the same questions. How do y'all feel? What do you think about the movie? What's mulling around in your head? Did anything inspire you? Did anything turn you off about the movie? Anybody can start. Yes.
Well, I came because I know that he mentioned like Monsanto is producing food also with the that has GMO in it, generically modified
Organisms.
So I know we need to do this because it causes cancer. It causes all type of problems with your body functioning normally, your mental capabilities, it even affects your emotional attitudes and your level of psychic, abilities.
Right.
To see.
Yeah. And we don't have her face on camera because she prefer not to be on camera, but we're hearing her.
Okay.
Go ahead, sis.
Okay. So we need to. There are a lot of, and also they mentioned as far as the other things, as far as politically.
Yeah.
They're affecting the organization of people coming together to do this.
Right.
So you have to make sure that you deal with the legal aspect of it. But we need to eat. We need to eat.
We need to eat.
So, I was getting hungry just,
Right.
dealing with this. So.
Okay. Excuse me, sir. You bombarded right into the middle of our discussion, movie night discussion.
Yes.
And
yes.
you just having a side conversation.
I am, as a matter of fact.
And you are on camera as you do that.
Yes. yes. I was coming because the baby called my son, and I was just wanting to know who that was. It was calling my son, and he looked around like, "Where's the baby?" So I had to take him out there to see, who it was.
Oh, the new baby too. It's two babies in the house. Okay, ladies, what did you guys think about the movie?
Well, yeah, I definitely enjoyed the movie. I learned a lot from it. I think the vision and everything that's going on in Detroit, Michigan, as they was explaining everything, was, I just think that was wonderful what they're doing with the land. And I just wish that they would get more city support, in terms of everything they were saying about the ordinances and zoning and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I just wish they would get the real support they need to continue their vision. Yeah,
to flourish. And I meant to do some more digging into this, because this movie was done, I think, in like 2001. Yeah, which surprised me.
It looks so fresh.
Yeah, recent. Yeah, and so I could be wrong, but I'm gonna look again, and I was curious to see where they are today in their efforts. Right.
Yeah, and I would say, I also learned a lot about soil quality, as they was explaining in the video, and different factors that affects, contamination of the soil, and just their struggle overall to keep and grow, fresh organic produce and different things like that.
Right. And if you guys are just tuning in on the live stream, we're talking about Urban Roots. It's a documentary about Detroit and how they took a lot of the vacant buildings and vacant lots and lands and turned them into urban farming. And they're feeding their own communities, and they're doing all this with very little help from the local government. So, yeah, that was what was the movie about. Anybody else want to ask? Sis, you said you're growing your own food yourself.
Yes, and I have two other ladies on my block, Miss Sugar and Miss Rice, and one is from Brazil, and the other one is from
Haiti?
Cuba.
Oh, Cuba.
And I have a friend, she's in her 60s, she's from Haiti. So I got to know these women so I could learn how to farm, but I have to farm inside of containers because I have dogs. And they like to bless the fruit and vegetables as
Yeah.
So I'm growing sweet peppers, hot peppers, tomatoes, lettuce, all this kind of stuff in my front yard.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's so surreal for me to like have my lettuce and go and like pick the tomato and put it in my salad. I trip out about that all the time. Like, oh my God, I grew this. This is so amazing.
Yeah.
And then it makes your place feel so beautiful because you got the flowers and the bees and all these fun animals and butterflies that come to my yard that don't go to the other yards because I have life in my yard. And they flourish to my yard. The monarch butterflies and the bees and all this. Why you got all these bugs coming out? Because, you know, the fruit and the vegetables are there and the life is there. And the birds come.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
is
beautiful.
And I enjoy being in my hammock, hanging out with the flowers and the fruits and vegetables and stuff.
What you guys think about when they talked about how the young folks didn't know much about agriculture at all? They asked them in the school-age children, what, where did potatoes come
And
from?
It came from McDonald's.
And they said McDonald's.
That was horrible.
Yeah,
Horrible.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And the mama was working so many hours that she didn't have time to cook for her kids. That was sad too. So they had to fend for themselves.
But then there was some good stories too. I was very inspired by the man who spent time in jail, and when he came home, he wasn't. I think he was did a stint on drugs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But he found that gardening. And then he turned
very therapeutic.
Right.
Yes.
And then he turned it into a business.
That's right.
So when they didn't actually took the food that they grew and then it was selling to the community members.
And it was successful because it became his passion.
Yes. Yes. That was inspiring
That was
too.
beautiful.
Yeah. So again, we're talking about urban roots. It's a
I
document.
also compost in my yard. I found some compost and I compost because, you know, I'm vegan. So I throw everything in there and get that good compost on the side of my house, the compost, and you turn it and add the leaves and everything. Yeah. So it's sustainable, you know. So I'm not putting stuff in the trash. I'm putting it in compost. So that's called liquid gold.
With the worms?
No, the worms come automatically from the food. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they come. And then, so all my vegetables that I would use this winter will give food to the plants and vegetables for this summer. And they call that the liquid gold. So I won't have to buy any kind of soil and stuff. I just add that. Replenishing with what I already have.
Right.
Making everything sustainable.
How about the local government? Not and again, we've got a light crowd tonight, but we hear I guess when you own the place, you can kind of do what you want. So he's actually took the attention of these young ladies here off of the discussion part, and they have just have their own discussion going on. But they hadn't really seen the movie Urban Roots. But what do you guys think about urban farming? What is, I mean...
All for it. I mean, I think it's a necessary thing we got to do. You know, and it's eventually, with what's happening with the food supply, we have got to push that as priority. One of our, you know, mission #1 objectives. Getting control of our food supply. Cleaning it, sanitizing it.
Yeah, I've seen a few things popping up here lately. You know, you can ride down some places like on Central Avenue and other places where you see urban farming going on, but it's not like prevalent.
No,
it's not all over the place. We still very dependent on other sources for our food.
Yeah, the external. And see, for me, I grew up. You know, I grew up. I'm from Kentucky. Of course, you know, we were more urban than. Definitely my parents. My parents grew up on farms. You know, they were definitely part of that agrarian type of lifestyle. They, but it's amazing how over the course of 2 or 3 generations we've gotten out of touch with that. My parents kept a farm for as far back as I can remember. You know, that was the routine every spring. They would cut, you know, basically section off a patch of the backyard and out there with the tiller and turning soil and then planting in the fall, you know. Late
so
summer.
you grew up with gardens in your backyard?
I grew up with that, right next to the basketball goal and the wood and everything else. You know, that was the part. That was just the way
The way of life.
That for them, for my parents, because they grew up. That's how they grew up.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I mean, of course, I don't do that now, and my brothers don't. I mean, my mom doesn't either because she's a little older now. My dad's passed.
Right.
But yeah, it's a lost art. We got to get back in touch with it.
Yeah, I agree.
And learn about the learning.
Excuse me, Dr. Baruch, yes, you have sincerely interrupted. But since you interrupting, then let's just ask you, what is the significance of growing our own food? You being the owner and operator of this here establishment, Everlasting Life, and you provide the community with wholesome, vegan, delicious food. So what is your take on urban farming and the importance of
Well, unfortunately, as a result of the world being the way it is and people taking control of people's food so that they can take control of people, in other words, control their life expectancy, control their quality of life, control even some of the health challenges and abnormalities that we see coming about as a result of this standard American diet, and even worse, the standard Black American diet. We realize that controlling our own food literally from the garden to the table is a requirement. We can no longer trust that the grocery stores are offering us the highest quality food, and food that has not been tampered with in such a way that it damages our longevity and our natural balance.
I heard you lecture once about how these dialysis clinics are popping up all over the place in lower income communities.
Sure.
And we see these things and we don't put two and two together. We see them and it's a passing thought.
Right.
Money in the sickness system.
Because our insurance covers it. So because our insurance covers it, it's like, well, I got good insurance. So I'm going to be able to, do my 3 times a week. And now they're going to let me go home with my own dialysis machine. So now I can do it overnight or whatever I can do it. We're doing that. But literally, the attack on the Black community's kidneys is an act of war. It's an act of war. And we're looking at it as though it's just a natural phenomenon and somehow we're genetically predisposed to these illnesses. And that is nothing, that's nowhere near the truth.
It's not.
That is not the truth. God didn't make bad kidneys in Black people. What has happened is we are being targeted through bad foods. And I call it... Yes, I could talk a little louder. So we're being targeted as a community. We're being targeted, and it doesn't have to look like it's being targeted to just people of color, but because we tend to be centralized with where we live and where we shop and where we do business,
They can put it in our community.
they can put it in the community without making it look like it's racial.
Right.
It's just local.
Yeah.
It's local, and this is what you all have access to, and if you all eat this, then you're going to get these results. You get these results, we can expect that you're going to be a client. And then nephrologists, which are the kidney doctors, are now allowed to own dialysis clinics. So because they can own dialysis clinics, it does them good to send you to their clinic. So the minute you start looking like your kidneys are not functioning well, they're going to send you to the dialysis clinic because they know that's $125,000 a month.
That's right.
Income off of you. So again, this is an act of war, and we have to be careful. We can no longer support and feel comfortable going to eat at the places that we used to, that are so prevalent in our community. I call them the Jim Crow restaurants. The Crack Donald's, Murder King, Taco Hell, Wind Disease, Chokers, Bow Strangles, the International House of Pulmonary Heart Disease, the calculated feminization of our community, otherwise known as KFC. We have to avoid those places because if we don't, we're going to find ourselves under their control. Because at some point, if you eat that, you're going to have to go to their doctor, and they're going to give you their chemicals, and you're never going to be able to get off their chemicals for the rest of your life.
Good teaching, Doctor.
Have you seen? I read that book, brother. It was called Fast Food Genocide by Dr. Furman. Powerful. How they put it in our communities on purpose.
And another one is what's the brother that lectured here a couple years ago with the
Dr. Africa?
No, with the genocide book about food, with the snake on the cover. What's the brother name who has medicine? What is it? Medicide. Is it something like that?
No, it's Scott Whitaker.
Yeah,
Scott Whitaker.
That's another powerful book. It's Medicide. Is it medicine?
No,
It's something like that.
it's-
Medicine.
Yes,
Sin.
medicine.
S-I-N.
Yeah.
Medicine.
And what was that book that you just mentioned again?
Fast food genocide.
Fast food
It was
Do you have that?
Dr. Furman. It was written by a brother. A white doctor and a
Right
brother.
up here in Virginia.
Yeah, powerful.
What?
Powerful, yes.
I remember a couple years ago, this whistleblower. I don't know if you can still find it on YouTube. It used to be this woman, white woman. She worked for the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. She blew the whistle on. She said that they were sending milk that had what do you do when you put milk through the machines and it radiated milk that was rejected, and they were taking that same milk and giving them to school children and inner city school children in New York. Yeah, and they, they concentrated, you know what I'm saying? And then, so they, like you said, we don't believe that people can be that diabolical
The white coat.
yeah. And then, when they do those this is our children.
Right.
And my mother's on dialysis, and I said, Mom, you have to go plant-based.
Yeah.
You do.
You
But
have
my
to-
doctor tells me I have to have a little bit of meat. This is her kidney doctor telling her that. She's
not
living
only
off
that,
of 1/3 of one kidney.
The chemicals
And I
that
can't
they
change
put-
her. She's
the
70, she
chemicals that
won't.
they put in the dialysis
Yeah, it's
formula
poison.
is keeping her kidneys from functioning.
Wow.
So they put chemicals in that whole process that keep her kidneys from ever waking up.
Right.
So what happens is
She needs them.
what people realize is like, oh, I missed my dialysis appointment today, and then they realize, wow, I've gone 2 days
And I'm
I
good.
haven't gone to my dialysis appointment, and I even started to pee. So what's going on with that, doc? Oh no, you need to hurry up and get back in here so we can get you on that $125,000
And they
a
start falling in
month.
love with these doctors.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I can't talk to my mother often. I said, Mom, you're killing your eye. What can I do?
Yeah,
There was a
cancer is
doctor-
the same way. We let's not even go into cancer because the whole cancer industry
Yeah.
is a
Oh, yeah.
multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah.
There was a lady down the street from me who was on dialysis. What'd you say?
I'm sorry, I had you on. I know you don't want to be on.
Yeah, she had was on dialysis. So I hurry up and I was trying to catch up with Dr. Baruch and anybody that could help me, right? Because I wanted her to get her off of it. And I did find somebody, and she said, I think it was Dr. Ruby Lathan that said, how long has she been on dialysis? I went back and asked her. I said, well, how long have you been? She said, I've been on it 6 months. And I went back to the doctor and asked her, well, can we get her off it now? Start her to eating right and whatever the process is. She said, no, it's too late.
Wow.
It's too late.
Because your body becomes what?
It's not too late, actually. We've seen people, 15, 20 years on dialysis
And come
that
off.
can come off.
Well, she died, though, Dr. Baruch. She died.
But they gotta
Not
want
too
it
far-
and not be
far
scared.
After
Yeah.
that.
They gotta want it.
What
You know
happens
her
with
vision?
dialysis, it's not that the kidney stopped functioning, it's that the blood can't get to the kidney anymore because the capillaries are so clogged
Yeah.
with this poor diet that we consume. So those arteries, those capillaries have, and they're very, very fine. They're like 10 times smaller than your hair.
So it has plaques on it on the capillary?
Right, and all the other garbage that we're eating.
Yeah.
It's,
So it's
yeah.
like clogged up.
The Franken food.
Yep. So that it can't get there, so it can't filter the kidney. It can't filter the blood. And as a result of that, yeah, sure, your kidneys don't appear to be functioning right because you're seeing all of this sodium in the blood, and you're saying, well, wait a minute, this person hasn't got a functioning kidney. It's not that it can't function, it's that the blood can't get to it so that it can filter.
And so the doctors don't tell you, or they may not even know that if
So
you
they're not
just
taught
change your
that.
diet, you can clean out those
Well,
clogs.
medical doctors don't make any money off of you changing your
Right,
diet.
yeah.
So if they went around telling everybody to change their diet, they literally run themselves out of their big houses and their fancy cars and sending their children to Harvard.
In their dialysis clinics.
Right.
And I went to Virginia Beach this last weekend, and I went to this nutritionist health conference in Virginia Beach, and they had Dr. Barnard, Dr. T. Campbell with the China study, all these big heavy hitters, and that's what they talked about. And Dr. Ornish, it took him 16 years to get plant-based programs with Medicaid and Medicare,
Wow.
Yeah, because they didn't want you,
Wow.
yeah, so that was a 12-hour program, and it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
plant-based, you know.
Well, I know one of your close friends, brother Haru, he had mentioned that he went into, he sells his all natural medicine. I mean, painkiller, and he was going into the hospitals, and but the doctors told him, no, sir, you can't come in here with
That's
that
right.
because
The
you
pharma not having
compete.
that.
He said you compete against our pharmacy.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So we need to
That's
give these
quackery.
people pills.
They're gonna tell you it's quackery.
The medical establishment makes money for its shareholders. So because modern medicine in America is about making a profit as opposed to coming up with a cure, they're never going to come up with a cure. If the kidney or if the dialysis industry is a $10 billion industry, they're not going to do away with that $10 billion and say, hey, we've been lying to y'all. Y'all actually could eat healthy and you could get away.
Right.
Get off of this.
Especially when you understand a third of the entire GDP of this country, the third of the gross domestic product is in healthcare.
Yeah.
That's like a third of the industry. So they need sick people out here
And you go
to
to
even
other-
keep the economy
You go
going.
to other developed countries and they're nowhere near spending what we're spending in America. They're nowhere near having as many dialysis clinics. They're nowhere near the number of cancers and high blood pressures and heart diseases. But again, in America, sickness is big money.
We're not living long, and we're dying longer.
Yeah.
Dying longer, so they can get that check.
Yeah.
Hence, we've been racing for a cure for cancer for decades.
Yeah, they want to keep you halfway
Same
alive
place.
because they got to get that check. They don't want to kill you
Same
now.
place.
They want to keep you halfway alive. Yeah.
But in the meantime, in between time, you're making billions.
Oh yeah.
And if
Our
somebody
community
comes to
not
them-
making
Off of
billions.
racing
They
for a
making
cure.
billions.
Right. If
Yeah.
somebody came to them with a cure, they would reject it.
Yeah, like they
They
did.
would
Who
denounce
did they
him and
kill
call
when
him a
he had the
quack.
cure? What was his name? Dr. Sebi?
Dr.
Yeah.
Sabi, or you out of here. So all these naturopathic doctors
Like 400.
dying.
Yeah.
Suddenly.
So we got to pray for this brother right here.
Like you did.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
They coming after.
Yeah. That's it.
Anybody else want
water for the cause.
to add
Thank you,
anything?
brother.
Hey Darren, see you watching. Sorry you couldn't be with us this evening. I know you home with the son. Okay. Well, if that is it, y'all don't have anything more to say, I'm gonna log off of this.
Well, there is organizations out here that are also filing legal complaints against these companies like Monsanto. And they're winning.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
beautiful
yeah,
part of
yeah.
this.
They kind
They're
of
winning.
a brother kind of opened them doors.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what else I
so
noticed
scared.
though? In order for them to win, it was like 3 different powerful law firms that had to come together in order to
But they
bring
don't have the
to win
capital
the
that
suit.
Monsanto's had. They have so much
But
money.
they
No, I just said
won.
they won.
Yeah, I know,
In order
but
for them
it's
to
crazy.
win, they had to
Yeah,
come together and
together.
monopolize. Yeah, yeah, and that's a sign for us.
That they were willing to do anything to try to get rid of these people. They just didn't sit back and complain. They
Yeah.
wanted them out.
Yeah.
And so, but I also know that we should have never integrated. We should have never became partners with these people through civil rights and all of those type of movements we had, the Panthers and the Pan-African, all of that. We should have left. And I'm trying to leave now, but there are other groups that have left. But there's problems over there too. They have a lot of the leadership has become corrupt.
Yeah.
And they're working with European companies to get oil out of the company, to get the diamonds out of the company. They're stealing their resources. So you got problems on both sides. So what I see is that we've got to be honest. We've got to face these issues that we have as a people, even with the problems we have in our own in America, the agents that are coming in our groups and destroying the strength and
Well, what do you say to those who will hear you say that and say, well, just pray. just pray about it. It'll be okay. I mean, you know, it is what it is. Ain't nothing you can do about it. So you might as well just pray.
I hear that. I hear that, and it gets on my last nerve.
That's the baby boomers. That's what they say.
It gets on my last nerve that they think you see nowhere
Put no work in.
that
Just pray, Lord.
that even when you pray, the Creator's going to give you instructions on what to do. He's going, like, even like in an instance where they did pray, and the Creator gave them instructions on walk around the Jericho wall 7 times, and the wall fell. And guess what they had to do after it fell? They had to go in there and kick some high pots. They had to go in there as warriors and start to destroy those idol worshipers, or destroy those people who had been attacking their people with trying to keep them enslaved.
So are you saying,
they just
like,
didn't sit back and do nothing?
So for you, that's not a solution.
In history, have you seen people sit back and do nothing, and something happened? Even when we came to slavery, we didn't sit back and do nothing.
Yeah.
And we have people like Harriet Tubman who prayed and who asked God, "I'm sorry, God, I got involved with this man who didn't want to do nothing. So now, Father, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do your will." And she began to help people through the Underground Railroad. She wasn't, and the Creator gave her instructions on where to go, how to go. So that's where we get our...
And she was successful.
And she was successful.
Yeah.
Because she just didn't sit back and say, "I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray."
What happens, though? What happens when we just sit back and pray?
Nothing's going to happen if you just sit back. That's why you have all these people who are just praying, and you still got all this chaos around them. You got rape and murder, domestic violence. You got children that are being trafficked through their organs, because all these churches and these mosques and synagogues are not doing nothing about this.
Yeah.
They sitting back and praying, and they talking about it, but they're not really being involved. A lot of these groups, like even Farrakhan, I'm like asking one time to come down in my community, help with the drug act. I ain't heard from him yet. I ain't seen him yet.
Well, I'm sure you and 1,000 other people looking want him to come to their community.
Okay. But
Yeah.
so I'm saying that you should, if you can take care of home, don't be going talking about what, like Oprah went over to where's that? I think that was Kenya or somewhere, and got that school together.
Yeah.
With all this stuff over here, these people that are struggling, don't have decent schooling, and you way over in Kenya.
Let's get back into this conversation, because they're very engaged. So let me hear what Doc's saying.
Who are dealing with that, and they'll tell you it literally happened the weekend right after we got the vaccination, and all of a sudden my child no longer was responding to me. And now he's growing up, and he's obviously got a mental illness.
Childhood vaccination.
So we have to take it upon ourselves and recognize that whole thing is part of the warfare that's being engaged against us. And you then ask, well, who is it that's working against us? It's not just a color of people. It's companies. You know, it's even a government. This government is not looking out for our best interest, you know, and we have to recognize that if that's the case, then we have to build community first, and then we have to start building a railroad, you know, underground railroad, so that we can get to a safe place. You know, if that means Canada, if that means, you know, down to Costa Rica or Belize or wherever it means, or Africa, that's where it means that we have to go. If we're really concerned about saving our future and our bloodline.
That's true.
Because that's what this is all about. It's about cutting off our bloodline. And I'll add a piece to that, you know, our bloodline is under attack. Not only, I talked about it a little bit when she asked me the question, but it's not only with our health, but also with gender confusion. And that's big. And it's a very difficult subject to talk about, because so many people are like, well, wait a minute, you know, these people are just, this is just a natural thing. No, I've been on this planet for 53 years, and I remember what, you know, the world looked like as it relates to, you know, there are people that seemingly had some other persuasions. Now, there's something else that's going on now. And when you've integrated it into the food supply, you know, it's like the formula that we give our children. The formula has so much female hormone in it. It's ridiculous. It has 5 times the amount of estrogen that you would find in a birth control pill. It's no wonder our little girls are getting breasts at 5 and 6 years of age. And our little boys are growing up and they want to play with the little cute dolls. because it's by nature. It's causing this outcome, and it's not by mistake. These are the same company. Now Bayer owns. I can't remember which one of the
Infamil, Similac.
one of those. It starts with an N, I think. But they own one of those companies. And
Bayer.
again, you go back to Bayer is one of the Germanic companies that has migrated into the pharmaceutical space that is now. So it's
Not
it's
to
very
mention
serious.
sugar, high fructose corn syrup. Almost half of the baby formula is sugar.
Yeah.
And we now know that sugar is a dangerous drug. This is addictive as heroin.
Yeah, like they put it in the milk, and it was this doctor that sued the FDA, and he won about the amount of milk they putting in the.
Amount of sugar.
Yeah,
they
amount
put
of
in the
sugar.
milk.
Yeah.
That victory cannot compare to the amount of lives that have been lost and damaged. That victory is just a drop in the bucket. And they're prepared. They know, okay, yeah, we can do this, and it's okay. Because now we're going to protect ourselves. We'll never leave ourselves exposed to be attacked in this way again. That's why they can vaccinate you, and they can damage your child, and you can't sue them.
Yeah, because they got in the laws that you can't sue them.
That's right.
Isn't that but you
That's right.
Wow.
And why would they go through great
I saw that
lengths
documentary.
to make
it
sure
was
they
about
protect themselves from being
vaccinations,
sued
and it's on YouTube.
from vaccinations
so just
if
Google
they're safe and healthy.
Dr. Tom O'Brien.
You know, we
Dr.
gotta
Tom O'Brien.
start critically thinking about this
And
kind of stuff.
I don't have any kids, but I
Your
wanted to tell all
child is your child.
my family, and they
It's
didn't
not
want to
their
believe me.
child.
Yeah.
They can't dictate to you, and your body is your body. They cannot dictate to you what it is that you're going to do. They can cause you to be afraid. They can give you a lot of information, and they can bring all these experts in to tell you, no, this is what you need to do, and if you don't do this, then we're going to kick you out the hospital. Well, if that's the case, then that's where I need to go.
Right.
Because if you all are going to destroy me, if you're going to damage my health, then, let me go.
Right.
You know, I'll work it out. Now, some way this is going to get worked out, but I'm not going to work it out with you all trying to poison me. And some people do it without the knowledge of where all of this comes from. They're just doing what the insurance companies say
That's
they
right.
got to pay for.
That's right. That's
Because we're not
right.
going to pay for anything else. And it's difficult.
But
It's
those
difficult
doctors
to
are
think.
taught by the pharmaceutical reps. They're taught by the pharmaceutical the doctors.
Yeah. So we got a lot of work to
So
do.
will you be immunizing your son there?
No, indeed. No, as a matter of fact, he was supposed to get his first shot within hours from his birth.
Right.
And I saw them, doing all their little paperwork, and they writing up, and I said, okay. I said, I just want to make sure y'all are reminded. Do not stick him with anything.
Yeah.
I don't care whether you're just trying to draw blood or whatever. Do not stick him with anything.
And you had to watch them like a hawk, didn't
Yeah.
you? Because they trying to get at him.
And they, at that point, the
You
whole
want your
energy
son to be
shifted.
sick and
Yeah.
kill other babies in the hospital.
That's because a lot of the doctors and nurses are as miseducated and brainwashed
That's
as the
right.
general
That's right.
public.
Well, what happened was the medical doctor said, well, I don't support that decision. I think you're being very dangerous and careless with regard to the health of your son. And he went through this whole diatribe, and I said, and then he asked me, he said, is this still something you want to do? I said, absolutely. Show me the paper so I can sign it off so you don't need to talk to me no more.
Yeah. And beat it, buddy.
And then when it was done, the nurse circled back in and said, I'm so glad you didn't do that.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yes. Was she a chocolate girl like us?
Wow.
To see.
See
Save your baby.
So glad you stood up, because what she said was, she said all of the white parents say they don't want it, and the doctors don't give them a hard time. She said, now here it is, a black parent is saying that, and they're giving them a hard time. They make money
And he
off
might
of
get
that.
some. Oh my God.
Just like they make
oh
money
my
off
God.
the flu shots.
I'm a
Doctors
Tuskegee
get-
graduate, so you know I know all about this. Oh my God.
Doctors get kickbacks for
Oh, I
every
know.
flu shot.
Oh,
You
I
can
know.
go to the hospital sick as a dog,
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
first thing they ask you is, do you want a flu
They
shot?
don't get any money by being a doctor in
Right.
you.
So they
You
get
go to CVS and get a flu shot and then get 10% for free.
Yeah.
You can get a free flu shot.
That's
and
what
then
I
get
see.
10% off your whatever your purchase is.
Don't you see those little banners?
Wow.
Get
So
free
they
flu
encouraging-
shots.
They
When
are-
and on
Girl.
the CDC's website, they tell you on the CDC website that there is no proof that the flu shot
That's right.
alleviates the
That's
flu.
right. But who's gonna read that? Because we don't read. We don't read.
So my question then why is the push? If
don't
they
read
know
that.
that it doesn't
Control.
work,
Population
why are you
control.
pushing people to get them?
You just
Population
said it,
control.
population control. There also is a situation going on, y'all, in different parts of the city. Like in Elton, Maryland, they had a couple that was they gave them 13 years in jail behind homeschooling a child and not getting the child vaccinated. 13 years. They followed this couple all the way to Atlanta. Came up to Atlanta and took their children from them and arrested them. And they were in Elkton. So, so they said, well, I'm going to
Okay.
Playing the dirt all day. That's why my
to
immunity
get
is up.
to
When
get
you go out and play in the woods, you build
to get away from these
Hey,
people.
Thomas.
You
Hey,
do.
Ron.
When you so
But they
sterile,
followed them
you don't
all the
build.
way to. So I'm just saying we have to make sure that we sign the proper documents to make sure that we, because there is a society that does not vaccinate their children.
Oh yeah, the Amish don't vaccinate their children. They have one of the healthiest societies in this.
Oh, I didn't
The
know
healthiest.
that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But let me wrap this up. Okay. All right, family. This is our dinner and a movie night. We do this here at Everlasting Life each and every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. Always free. Always something interesting. As you can see, the discussion goes around the room. We had a very light crowd this evening, so depending on what movie we're airing, depending on the crowd, so we encourage you to come out, join us, be part of the crowd, be part of the discussion, be in the mood, So the night's movie was Urban Roots. It was a documentary relating to urban farming, where they captured the people in Detroit. Where Detroit, half of the population in Detroit has moved out because all the jobs and everything have left, because Detroit used to be the bustling motor city, and that's no longer. So they had all these vacant lots in Detroit and land and things that wasn't being utilized at all. So community members decided to begin urban farming, and they created an entire ecosystem around what they were doing. So not only were some of the people were farming, then they brought in goats and chickens, and the next thing you know, businesses started to rise up from that, because then you had people who was farming. And then they started selling their food to other community members and things of that nature. So that is what this documentary was about tonight. It was called Urban Roots. So join us again next week, next Friday. Well, next Friday is the Black Friday, so we'll be here, but we won't be doing the movie night. We'll be doing the whole vending event. So we're doing a hiatus for next Friday, and then we're picking up on movie night the Friday after that. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. Take care. Peace.